Lights, camera, and a whiff of something unexpected. The glimmer of Hollywood often hid some rather shocking truths about its stars' hygiene habits. Clark Gable, with his charming smile, faced dental issues that left many wondering about his oral care. Lana Turner reportedly took infrequent showers, raising eyebrows in an era where glamour was paramount. Marlon Brando, a legendary figure, was notorious for his unpleasant odor on set, which his co-stars often whispered about behind closed doors. As we delve deeper, the tales become more surprising. Some stars believed that their natural scent added to their allure, while others simply disregarded personal hygiene in favor of their craft. These stories reveal a raw, human side to the glittering world of cinema, where the pursuit of perfection often clashed with everyday realities. The golden age of Hollywood was not just about the glitz and glamour, it was also about the quirks and flaws that made these icons relatable. Prepare for a journey into the lesser-known, yet fascinating, aspects of these beloved figures. As the enigmatic star of films like Anna Karenina and Camille, Greta Garbo was known for her beauty and mystique. However, behind her glamorous image, she had a reputation for poor personal hygiene, which became a point of contention for those who worked closely with her. Garbo was famously reclusive and avoided the public eye as much as possible. Her aversion to socializing extended to her personal hygiene habits. Co-star John Gilbert, who worked with her in several silent films, mentioned Garbo's hygiene in private conversations. Her hygiene habits were influenced by her desire for privacy and her minimalist lifestyle. She often avoided the studio's makeup and wardrobe departments, preferring to handle her own grooming. This led to less than ideal hygiene, as noted by those around her. Director Clarence Brown, who directed Garbo in several films, recalled in an interview that Greta was a perfectionist in her work, but paid little attention to her personal cleanliness. She believed in natural beauty, even if it meant not showering regularly. Her reclusive nature meant that she often neglected regular bathing and laundry. Her maid, who worked for her in her later years, noted in her memoir that Garbo would wear the same clothes for days and rarely did laundry. Miss Garbo valued her privacy above all else, and did not like people fussing over her, including with hygiene, as her maid wrote. Despite her hygiene issues, Garbo's talent and screen presence were undeniable. She received an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress for her role in Camille, and continued to captivate audiences with her performances. Her reclusive nature and lack of personal care became part of her mystique, adding to her allure. Publicly, Garbo's hygiene habits were not well known. The media and her fans focused on her enigmatic persona and memorable roles. This selective coverage helped maintain her status as a Hollywood legend. Her famous line, "I want to be alone," encapsulated her desire for privacy and contributed to her enduring mystique. Despite being an iconic actress known for her remarkable performances in films like Mildred Pierce, Joan Crawford had a complicated relationship with personal hygiene. Although she was a cleanliness fanatic, rumors about her body odor circulated among co-stars and crew members. Crawford was famous for her meticulous grooming habits. She reportedly took ice-cold baths to keep her skin firm, and followed a rigorous skincare routine. However, her insistence on using heavy musky perfumes to mask any natural body odor often backfired. Co-star Bette Davis famously remarked that Crawford reeked of Chanel No. 5 and sweat, highlighting the irony of her efforts to appear immaculate. During the long shooting days of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Crawford's intense body odor became increasingly noticeable. Davis found it challenging to work closely with her, and mentioned in a private letter that Joan's smell was unbearable after a few hours on set, describing it as a mix of heavy perfume and something else she couldn't quite identify. Crew members shared similar stories, with one anonymous crew member from Johnny Guitar recalling that Joan always sprayed perfume. Yet it did not mask the fact that she did not shower every day. This sentiment was common among those who worked with her. Despite these hygiene issues, Crawford's professionalism and talent overshadowed her problems. She was known for being demanding and maintaining high standards on set. Her obsessive cleaning habits extended into her home life as well. Friends and family noted that she would scrub her house obsessively, sometimes damaging her skin in the process. Her daughter, Christina Crawford, wrote in her memoir, "Mommy Dearest," that her mother would clean until her hands bled, yet she rarely took the same care with her own body. Known for his iconic role in Gone with the Wind, Clark Gable had a reputation for bad breath that became part of Hollywood lore. His co-star, Vivien Leigh, who played the beloved Scarlett O'Hara, often voiced her complaints about his dental hygiene. Lee once remarked that kissing Gable was not as thrilling as one might expect, noting that his dentures emitted an awful smell. This was not an isolated complaint. Many who worked alongside Gable shared similar experiences regarding his persistent bad breath. By the time he starred in Gone with the Wind, Gable had lost most of his teeth and relied on dentures, which contributed to the odor. His dentist, Charles Pincus, crafted special dentures for him, but they did not entirely resolve the issue. On the set of Mutiny on the Bounty, co-star Charles Laughton also struggled with Gable's breath, reportedly exclaiming that he could not stand it. This created some tension during filming, but Gable's star power made it bearable for those around him. In a 1958 interview, actor Frank Capra, a close friend of Gable, candidly discussed his dental issues, saying that while Clark was a wonderful person, his breath could knock you over. This was a well-known fact among Hollywood insiders, yet it did not hinder Gable's career. His hygiene problems extended beyond his breath. He also had a reputation for not bathing regularly. Actress Loretta Young, who starred with him in Call of the Wild, found his lack of cleanliness quite challenging. Young recalled that while Gable was ruggedly handsome, he had a distinct odor that was hard to ignore. His habits did not improve over the years. On the set of The Misfits, co-star Marilyn Monroe and director John Huston had to contend with his smell. Despite these hygiene issues, Gable remained a beloved figure in Hollywood, as his charisma and talent overshadowed his personal habits. He continued to receive numerous roles and accolades throughout his career. In 1960, during the filming of The Misfits, Gable suffered a heart attack, leading to his death shortly after. Even in the wake of his passing, the focus remained on his legendary career rather than his hygiene. His legacy as the King of Hollywood stayed intact, illustrating how talent and charm can sometimes eclipse personal shortcomings. As an icon of classic Hollywood, Bette Davis was known for her intense performances and strong personality. However, she also had a reputation for poor personal hygiene, primarily due to her heavy smoking habit. This smoking led to persistent bad breath, which became a common complaint among her co-stars. Davis was a notorious chain smoker, often seen with a cigarette in hand both on and off the set. Her habit contributed to her bad breath, which was frequently mentioned by those who worked closely with her. Co-star George Brent, who appeared with Davis in several films, once remarked that Betty was a tremendous actress, but her breath was quite overpowering. Her smoking was not just a minor issue. It was a significant part of her daily life, as she smoked up to 4 packs of cigarettes a day. This constant smoking not only affected her breath, but also left a lingering smell on her clothes and in her hair. On the set of All About Eve, co-star Ann Baxter had to endure Davis's bad breath during their numerous close scenes. Baxter later recalled that working with Bette was a great experience, but it was challenging at times because of her smoking, as the smell was always there. Her personal assistant, Catherine Kaki, who worked with Davis during the latter part of her career, also mentioned her hygiene habits in her memoir. KCC wrote that Bette was particular about many things, but her smoking habit was something she never addressed. It was part of who she was. Despite these hygiene issues, Davis's career was filled with accolades and awards. She won 2 Academy Awards for Best Actress for her roles in Dangerous in 1935 and Jezebel in 1938, and she received 10 nominations in total. Her powerful performances and commanding presence on screen overshadowed any personal flaws. Interestingly, Davis's hygiene issues were not widely known to the public during her lifetime. The media focused more on her professional achievements and personal dramas rather than her smoking habit and its effects. This allowed her to maintain a strong public image as a glamorous and talented star. In her later years, Davis's smoking took a toll on her health. She suffered a stroke in 1983, which affected her appearance and speech. Despite her health issues, Davis continued to work, making television appearances and writing her memoirs. Celebrated for her beauty and talent in films like The Killers and Mogambo, Ava Gardner was a Hollywood icon whose glamorous public image often overshadowed her less than stellar personal hygiene. Those who worked closely with Gardner frequently remarked on her infrequent bathing and other hygiene issues. Her carefree lifestyle contributed to this, as she preferred to live in the moment rather than adhere to strict grooming routines. Frank Sinatra, her third husband, humorously commented on her hygiene in his memoir, describing Ava as a free spirit who prioritized fun over regular baths. On the set of Mambo, co-star Clark Gable also noticed Gardner's less-than-perfect hygiene. Gable, who had his own hygiene quirks, reportedly told a friend that while Ava was stunning, she did not seem to care much for bathing. This sentiment was echoed by other co-stars and crew members who shared similar observations. Gardner's makeup artist, Del Armstrong, recalled in an interview that, although Ava was one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood, she did not prioritize cleanliness. There were times when she would arrive on set without having washed her hair for days. Despite this, Armstrong admired Gardner's natural beauty and her ability to captivate audiences. Interestingly, Gardner's hygiene habits were not widely known to the public. Fans adored her for her stunning looks and passionate performances, while the media focused more on her tumultuous love life and glamorous image, rarely touching upon her personal hygiene. This selective coverage helped maintain her status as a Hollywood icon. Her lifestyle was also influenced by heavy drinking and late-night partying. Known for her love of nightlife, she often stayed out until the early hours of the morning, which contributed to her lack of a regular hygiene routine. In her autobiography, Ava My Story, Gardner openly admitted her love for partying and living freely, acknowledging that sometimes hygiene took a backseat to fun. Renowned for his roles in A Streetcar Named Desire and The Godfather, Marlon Brando was not just famous for his acting. He had a well-known reputation for poor hygiene. Co-stars and directors frequently commented on his lack of cleanliness, which became an integral part of his off-screen persona. On the set of A Streetcar Named Desire, co-star Vivien Leigh, who played Blanche Dubois, found it difficult to work with him due to his hygiene. Leigh remarked that Marlon never seemed to care about cleanliness, making it tough to share close scenes with him. This sentiment was echoed by others who worked with him. Director Elia Kazan, who directed Brando in both A Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront, noted his hygiene habits. Kazan mentioned in an interview that, while Marlon was a brilliant actor, he had no regard for personal hygiene, and his natural smell was often overpowering on set. Despite this, Kazan continued to work with Brando, recognizing his immense talent. Brando's hygiene became a notorious part of his method acting. During the filming of The Wild One, he reportedly wore the same costume for the entire shoot, rarely washing it. Co-star Mary Murphy said that Marlon would stay in character all day, even if it meant not bathing or changing clothes. It added to his authenticity, but was not pleasant for the rest of the cast. The issue persisted throughout his career. On the set of The Godfather, his co-stars had similar experiences. James Caan, who played Sonny Corleone, once joked that Marlon would show up on set smelling like he had just rolled out of bed, adding that it was part of his charm. Despite these complaints, Brando's performances continued to receive critical acclaim. His personal life reflected his casual attitude toward hygiene. He was known for his unkempt appearance and disregard for social norms. In a 1973 interview with Rolling Stone, he admitted he never saw the point in showering every day, calling it a waste of water and time. This nonchalant approach endeared him to some but alienated others. Even in his later years, Brando's hygiene habits remained unchanged. On the set of Apocalypse Now, director Francis Ford Coppola struggled with Brando's behavior, including his lack of cleanliness. Coppola recounted that Marlon was difficult in many ways, including his hygiene, but his performance was worth the trouble. Brando's hygiene issues did not significantly impact his career. His talent and charisma overshadowed his personal habits. He continued to receive accolades and remained a sought-after actor throughout his life. His roles in The Godfather and Last Tango in Paris solidified his status as a Hollywood legend. Public perception of Brando remained largely positive. Fans admired his rebellious spirit and dedication to his craft. The media often focused on his acting prowess and controversial statements rather than his hygiene. As the iconic star of silent films like The Kid and City Lights, he was revered for his comedic genius and pioneering contributions to cinema. However, behind the scenes, Chaplin had a reputation for poor personal hygiene, which sometimes made working with him difficult for his colleagues. His hygiene habits were influenced by his intense focus on his work. Known for being a perfectionist, he often spent long hours on set, leaving little time for personal care. Actress Paulette Goddard, who starred alongside Chaplin in Modern Times, and was also his wife for a few years, mentioned in interviews that his dedication to his craft often overshadowed his attention to hygiene. During the filming of The Great Dictator, Chaplin's co-stars noticed his lack of cleanliness. Jack Oakey, who played Mussolini in the film, recalled in his autobiography that Chaplin's hygiene was a common topic of conversation. His hygiene issues extended to his dental care. His close friend and collaborator Douglas Fairbanks noted that Chaplin often had bad breath. Fairbanks once joked that Charlie could light up a room with his smile, but you wouldn't want to be too close when he did. Despite these personal hygiene issues, Chaplin's talent and charisma ensured his continued success in Hollywood. His films were groundbreaking, and his performances left a lasting impact on the industry. He received numerous accolades throughout his career, including an honorary Academy Award in 1972 for his contributions to film. Chaplin's personal life was also marked by his hygiene habits. His son, Charles Chaplin Jr., wrote in his memoir about his father's casual approach to personal cleanliness. Chaplin Jr. noted that his dad was always so engrossed in his work that personal hygiene was an afterthought, and he didn't mind skipping a shower if it meant perfecting a scene. Publicly, Chaplin's hygiene issues were not well known. The media and his fans focused more on his cinematic achievements and less on his personal habits, allowing him to maintain his image as a beloved figure in the entertainment industry. Despite her glamorous on-screen persona, Lana Turner had a reputation for inconsistent personal hygiene that became a topic of discussion among her co-stars and those who worked closely with her. Known for her captivating performances in films like The Postman Always Rings Twice and Peyton Place, Turner's demanding career and personal struggles often led her to neglect regular bathing. She relied heavily on perfume to mask body odor, which was a point of concern for those around her. Her personal assistant, Beverly Adland, who was also a close confidant, shared in her memoir that Turner sometimes went days without a bath. On the set of The Postman Always Rings Twice, co-star John Garfield noticed these hygiene issues. Garfield, known for his straightforwardness, reportedly remarked to a friend that while Lana was stunning on screen, off-screen she sometimes smelled as if she hadn't bathed in days, suggesting that the perfume could only do so much. Additionally, Turner's heavy use of makeup contributed to her hygiene problems. She often slept with her makeup on to save time in the morning, which led to skin issues and an overall lack of cleanliness. Makeup artist Del Armstrong noted that Lana's skin suffered because she rarely took off her makeup at night, as she was always in a rush, and did not prioritize proper hygiene. Despite these personal flaws, Turner's talent and beauty made her a beloved figure in Hollywood. She received an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress for her role in Peyton Place, and continued to earn praise for her performances throughout her career. Her charisma and screen presence often overshadowed her hygiene issues. Publicly, Turner's habits were not widely known, as the media focused more on her film career, numerous marriages, and her dramatic personal life, including the infamous stabbing incident involving her daughter, Cheryl Crane. This selective coverage helped maintain her glamorous image. Known for her roles in classics like Gilda and CoverGirl, Rita Hayworth was a stunning beauty and one of Hollywood's top stars during the 1940s and 1950s. However, despite her glamorous appearance, Hayworth had a reputation for inconsistent personal hygiene, particularly related to her hair care. Her most famous feature was her thick, luxurious red hair, which became an iconic symbol of her allure. Maintaining such a trademark look required considerable effort, and Hayworth often skipped regular washing to keep her hair styled and camera-ready. According to her hairdresser Helen Hunt, who worked with Hayworth for many years, Rita's hair was her crowning glory, but she didn't wash it frequently. Hayworth believed that washing it too often would ruin the style. Her co-star in Gilda, Glenn Ford, noticed Hayworth's approach to hair care. He mentioned in a private conversation that while Rita's hair was always perfect on screen, off-screen, you could tell she hadn't washed it in days, considering it a small price to pay for that stunning look. In addition to her hair care habits, Hayworth's personal hygiene was influenced by her arthritis and numerous health issues. She often struggled with arthritis, which made daily routines, including bathing, challenging. Her daughter Yasmin Khan wrote in her memoir about her mother's health struggles and how they affected her personal care. Khan noted that her mother's arthritis made it hard for her to do simple tasks, and there were days when she just couldn't manage to take a bath. Hayworth's hygiene issues also extended to her living conditions. During the height of her career, she lived in luxurious homes, but her housekeeping habits were less meticulous. Friends and visitors often noted the disarray in her living spaces. This combination of health challenges and a focus on maintaining her stunning looks contributed to the inconsistent personal hygiene that became part of her life.